Namaste, dear children. Welcome again. So, today we will be starting a new chapter, chapter number 2 of political science, and the name of the chapter is Federalism. Now, if you remember in the last chapter, we have studied the forms of power sharing, and one of the form of power sharing was that different levels of government we did the vertical distribution of power. We did that vertical distribution in which we had central government, we had state government, and we had local government. We discussed the second point of forms of power sharing. Now this division of power between different government, this is what federalism means. So in this chapter we will be looking at this form of power sharing in much more detail. Okay, so let's start. We will see the following topics in this chapter: that what is federalism, then in this we will see that what is unitary form of government, then we will see some key features of federalism, then what makes India a federal country, means how whether India is a federal country or not, and if yes, how how it is actually practiced. Then we will finally see the decentralization in India, which is the local government. So let's start with the first topic, which is what is federalism. Now, what is federalism? In simple words, we can say it is the division of powers between central government and the state government. That is what federalism means. Means the power is not concentrated in one hand only. It is distributed at different levels. So the distribution of power between central government and its different constitutional units, it is called federalism. So it is a system of government in which power is divided between central authority. Central authority is the central government and its various constituent units. Now, various constituent units, in case of India, we have state government as well as local government. Well, if we talk about other countries, then we have majorly the state governments over there. So it is the distribution of power between different levels of government. That is federalism. Clear? The meaning is clear? Now, usually a federation has two levels. That is what I just told you. That usually a federation has two levels. That is the one government for the entire country. That is the central government or union government. That is usually responsible for the few subjects of common national importance. And what are its subject matters? The subject matters of central government are those of the entire. So the central government, it handles the subjects of national interest or national, the subjects which are having the national importance, while the second level, which is at the province level or the state level, that state government, it handles the subjects of day-to-day administration of their own area, that is of their own state. So generally in the federation we have two levels, one is central government, another one being state government. Now then, what are unitary governments? Now, unitary governments are those which are only having one level of government and all the areas are under their control. So, under the unitary system, either there is only one level of government or the subunits are subordinate to the central government. Whether they will have a single just one level of government or they will have their subunits, but those subunits are totally subordinated under the central government, means they have just divided their work with their subunits, but they are not having the power, and they are ultimately, if they are having those power, but they are ultimately under the control of the central government and they are answerable to the central government. So the power has been divided at the subunits only just because for the proper administration. Otherwise the main power or the main authority, it is there with the central government, which is sitting at the top. Now the central government can pass on the orders to the provincial or to the local government. Now central government can pass the orders to the state level and local level, while local and state cannot do anything for the on the central. So basically there is one unit only, and if there are certain subunits, that is only for the purpose of administration. None other than the purpose of administration. They don't have much powers and they are totally under the control of central government. But in the federal system, the central government cannot order the state government to do something. For example, USA. In unitary government, we have it in UK, United Kingdom, where we have just one power, that is the central government, and other there are subunits, but they are under the control of again the central government. While we have federalism, pure federalism in USA, and in USA the central government, it cannot order any of the state government to do something. The state governments, they are very much independent and they work as per their own wish. Then we have to read about some of the key features of federalism. Now this is the question which is mostly asked in the board examination, that write any 5 or write any 3 features of federalism, or 5 features. We will be reading all the 6 or 7 which are there in your NCERT book. Number 1 is there are 2 or more levels of government. So we have 2 or more tier, that is central government and state government. So these are 2 tiers, or if we have 3, then it would be local government as in the case of India. Then okay, we have different 2 tiers. Now each tier is responsible for particular work only, so different tiers of government govern the same citizen. Although both the tiers, both the level of government, whether central or state, they have to govern the same citizens only. Like the central government, today we have BJP is controlling us, they are ruling us, as well as the state government. In case of UP, if we talk about, this is the again BJP, Yogi government is there, so it is also ruling us. So they are ruling the same citizens, both the tiers, but each tier has their own area of control, and that area of control, we say, that is called jurisdiction. It is the legal term, this is called jurisdiction. So both the levels of government, they although they govern the same citizens, but they have their different area of control, and that area of control, we say that they have their own jurisdiction. And this jurisdiction or area of control is in what terms? It is on the basis of, in the terms like legislation, that on what area or on what matter the central government will make law, and in this matter state government will make law. So they have their matter fixed, that who will make law on which subject. Then on taxation, it is very much clear that which government will levy which tax. Service tax will be levied by central government, say, and say entertainment tax will be taken by state government. So that is the taxation. May they have their own jurisdiction, that who will levy which tax and who will collect which tax. Then administration, they have their own administration, that this particular area will be administered by state government and this area will be dealt by say central government. So say if we talk about defense, so defense will be handled by central government. But if we say about say agriculture, something related to the agricultural activities, or something related to trade, so that will be taken care by the state government. So that the administration area is also very much clearly defined, that is they are having their own jurisdiction. Now don't you think there can be a fight that on this jurisdiction, that किसका कितना jurisdiction है, किसका क्या area of control है? Central government will say नहीं ये वाला तो मेरे control में है, state government will say नहीं ये वाला मेरे control में है. No, there will be no fight. Why? Because it is very much clearly written in our constitution that who will handle what. So this is our third point, that the jurisdiction of the respective level or the tiers of government are specified in the constitution. It is very much clearly mentioned in the constitution that which jurisdiction comes under which level. So the existence and the authority of each tier of government is constitutionally guaranteed. So the existence of each level of government is guaranteed by the constitution, and it is the constitution which decides the jurisdiction of each level of government. Then we have fourth one, that federalism में क्या होता है? If you want to change the fundamental provision. Now what is fundamental provision? If you remember, I once told you about the concept of basic structure of the constitution. That basic structure of the constitution is only called the fundamental provisions. So the basic structure of the constitution or the fundamental provisions of the constitution, they cannot be unilaterally changed by one level of government if you are a federal country. So in federalism, the basic provisions or the fundamental provisions of the constitution cannot be changed by just one level of government. Rather, the consent of both the level of government is required. And how it is done? That if some basic provision needs to be changed, then it should be passed by both the houses of parliament, that is the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, both should pass it with special majority. And also it should be ratified means it should be passed by more than half of the state legislatures. If there is any dispute regarding any provision, then none of the level of government will decide. It is the constitution which it is actually the courts which will decide that what all is written in this particular provision. So court is the final interpreter of our constitution. Courts are the final guardian of our constitution. So you may get this question 1 mark, that who is the guardian of Indian constitution? Then you will say courts are the guardian. Who is the interpreter of the Indian constitution? Then you will say courts are the interpreter of Indian constitution. So courts have the power to interpret the constitution and the powers of the different levels of government. The court will decide who will handle what. If there is any dispute, that if it is not clearly mentioned in the constitution or it needs to be interpreted, then it is the court who will interpret and it will guide the level of governments, different levels of government. Then the highest court, so we can say that the courts, they act as the umpire if there is any dispute between different levels of government in the exercise of their respective powers. So if there is any conflict or dispute between different levels of government, court will decide. Why? Because court is the final interpreter of our constitution. Then 6th point, now source of revenue. Now if there are different levels of government, they need some paisa also to rule. So the source of revenue is also very clear cut mentioned, and it is clearly specified that what is the source of revenue for each level of government, so that they can have enough supply of finance so that they can handle their administration. So to provide the financial autonomy, the source of revenue means how they will get the money. For each level of government it is clearly specified. For example, we have union budget for the central government, and it gives the money or it allocates the money to different state governments, and also the state government then pass their own what we say own state budget also. Then we have one consolidated fund of India, where all the tax collected by the central government is put in the consolidated fund of India, then the amount is distributed for various purposes. Similarly, at the state level, we have consolidated fund of state. All the taxes which are collected by the state government, they are put in that consolidated fund of state, and then it is being distributed. So who will levy what kind of tax? And they have that consolidated fund of India, consolidated fund of state. So that helps to maintain the financial autonomy. They are having their source of revenue by which they can handle their administration properly. So इसमें भी कोई झगड़ा नहीं होगा. Then we have 7th point. This point is majorly talking about that what is the objective of federal government. Then the federal system, we will say the main objective of the federal system is that they have to maintain the unity of the country. There should not be the concept of regionalism coming in the mind of state government. ऐसा नहीं है कि उन्हें सिर्फ अपने region से मतलब है and they will develop their own region only and they are only concerned about their region. No, although state government, they have to maintain their own regional diversity also, but their main agenda should be that the unity of the country, it should be safeguarded and it should be maintained, and at the same time they have to accommodate the regional diversity also. It means आपकी particular state में जो भी diversity है उसको भी maintain करना है, and you have to maintain that regional diversity along with the whole unity of the country. And therefore we can say that there are two important aspects which are related to the federalism, that there should be proper trust between both the levels of government, and there should be one agreement between both the levels of government, and both the levels should abide by that agreement. So mutual trust होना ज़रूरी है और आपके बीच में एक agreement होना ज़रूरी है, and both the levels of government should abide by the terms which are mentioned in the agreement. So 2 points are very crucial, and those 2 points which we can say the two aspect of the federalism is that there should be mutual trust and there should be an agreement, and the two objective is unity of the country shall be maintained, at the same time regional diversity should also be maintained. So if we recall the features, number 1 is there are 2 or more levels of government. Now if there are 2 or more levels of government, then what about their area of control? So they have the different jurisdiction And regarding what? Regarding legislation, that कौन किस पे law बनाएगा, regarding taxation, कौन से वाला tax किसको collect करना है, and regarding the administration, they have their own jurisdiction. Now अगर jurisdiction में लड़ाई हुई तो कौन decide करेगा? So लड़ाई होगी नहीं, because it is mentioned in the constitution. So the jurisdiction of each level of government, it is clearly mentioned in the constitution. So the existence and authority of each tier of the government is constitutionally guaranteed. Then fourth one is that no fundamental provision or no basic structure of the constitution can be unilaterally changed by any one level of government. Such changes require the support of both the levels. Then fifth one is that court are the final interpreter of the constitution. If there is any dispute between different levels, then the court will act as an umpire and it will resolve that dispute. Then sixth one is source of revenue. They have their different source of revenue. Each level has their own source of revenue, so that the financial autonomy is maintained and they are having enough finance so that they can run their administration effectively. Then the last one is the objective. Finally, then the objective of federalism is number one, the unity of the country shall be maintained and shall be safeguarded, and along with the regional diversity. And hence we can say that there are two crucial aspects. Number one is that there should be mutual trust among each other, and number two is that there should be an agreement between each of them, and each of them shall abide by that agreement. So in the next topic we will be reading about, or in the next video actually, these two types of federation. This is very important, like it is asked every year in the board examination, that what are the two roots of federation. We will read it in the next video. Till then you revise this one, and if you have any doubt, kindly ask it in your group. Thank you so much.